Alrighty, hello guys, welcome back to Cooking with Donna. Today we are going to be making some soft, chewy oatmeal cookies with some walnuts, and they are some delicious cookies. I just got thinking, the autumn's coming up, spices, and Christmas is coming up on us so fast, and it's time to start getting some cookies going again. So I have so many of them that I love to make up, and it's just, I never know which one to choose, and so many things to cook. But anyways, in my bowl, let's get started. I have 2 sticks, which is 1 cup of salted butter and 3 tablespoons of canola oil. This is what goes in the recipe that I use, which is 1 cup, 2 sticks of real sweet cream butter. And what we're going to do with that is cream that with, in here I have 1 cup of slightly packed brown sugar, and I have 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. We're going to mix that in with the butter, and we're going to cream that for a couple of minutes. Alrighty, I creamed that for probably 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And make sure your butter's at room temperature, guys. You don't want to try to mix up firm, cold butter. For the beginners, that is, Make sure your butter's been out for a while before you try making these cookies. Because you do want it soft, but by no means melted. And we got 2 eggs here. Well, I'm going to mix in 1 at a time. Let's get this mixed up. 1 egg at a time. It just incorporates better that way. Alright, there's 1. Sorry about that. Crossing in front of the camera. I gotta learn not to do that. And here's our 2nd egg. And we're going to add in here 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now, I should have actually stated this in the beginning. That way it gives it time to cool. So, what you're going to be doing... Okay, that egg's mixed in. Before you start your cookies, guys, I'm sorry, I apologize, I should have put this first. Here I have toasted 1 1/4 cups of quick cooking oats and 1/2 cup of walnuts. And what I did was I put them in a pan, put those in a pan here, and just toasted them, no oil, no nothing, till you start smelling that nutty goodness. And you have to keep stirring it, because you don't by no means want these to burn. So you're going to toast this up until you start smelling that really good, which takes about maybe 3 to 4 minutes on medium-high heat. Just keep stirring it. You're not looking to darkly brown it. It's just lightly toasted. Okay? And then you're going to completely let this cool. Remembering, these walnuts in the middle are still warm. So you don't want those warm at all, because you will thin out your cookie mix from the heat. So cool completely. You want to do it quicker, set them in the refrigerator. But mine cooled for about a half hour. Just stuck it in the fridge. Okay, so now to this, got this all creamed. Here I have 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to drizzle that right over top. That's 2 1/2 cups. You know what? Just a second. Okay. I had to dump my flour back out much as I could and just stay with most of the cream mixture here. I forgot my oil, guys. So when you cream your butter, And your sugar, you're going to be adding 3 tablespoons of canola oil. So I just missed my oil, so I hope y'all didn't. Well, I'll have to put this in the beginning, I guess. You won't see me adding it, but I'll squeeze it in there. That way you don't do the step I just did. Alright. Now I'll go back with my flour. Alright. I got most of the flour out. I didn't beat a whole lot of it. Okay. Now, right on top, I'm going to be adding, in here, I put probably a little bit less than half a teaspoon of salt. You don't want a whole lot of salt, but more than a quarter. So in between, if you want to go half, that's fine. And I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda in here. Not baking powder, guys. Make sure it's baking soda. Okay? And we'll drizzle that all over top. So that's a tad bit less I used of salt. Half a teaspoon. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And here I have a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just mix that all over top. Let me get this semi-mixed up. Alrighty, got that semi-mixed up. Into that, we are going to go ahead and add our toasted oats. Well, let me do my cup of raisins. I usually go for a cup, 1 1/4 cups. Your choice. I love raisins. And the same with the walnuts. If you don't like the walnuts, by all means, leave them out. Substitute them for pecans, whatever else you like, you know. Hazelnuts are good. But, this is our 1 1/4 cups of toasted oatmeal and a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. I like to leave them kind of chunky, but you'll toast those all together, as I stated, your walnuts and oatmeal in a dry pan for approximately 3 to 4 minutes. Just depends on how high you're cooking them, but do keep stirring them. Okay, let me get this mixed up. And don't overwork your cookie dough, guys. Just until it's all combined. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to chill it. Now, you can chill it in the freezer like I do. Sometimes I get impatient and I'll stick it in the freezer, and what happens first is the middle starts freezing. You can work your way around that, making your cookies, because the middle always tends to, you know, within a 1/2 hour it's still soft. And then while those are baking, I'll stick this back in the freezer, spread it all out, and let it chill for till the next batch is ready to come out. But if not, at least in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, but or the freezer for at least, you know, 45 minutes or so. Okay, so I'm going to get that mixed up, and we're going to get our dough chilled, guys. Now, another thing I wanted to add, if you're like, oh, she didn't even mix the flour and stuff together. What I do is, and I always mention it, I always just pour it on top, drizzle my stuff on top, and just slightly stir it in. Just slightly stir it in before you hit the wet on the bottom. All right, we've been chilling our dough now for maybe 35 to 40 minutes. You can see here, it's nice and firm. Now, the reason for doing this, and don't skip this part, guys, because you'll have a thin, runny cookie. This is chilling your dough. That way that butter firms back up, and you get more of a thicker cookie. They're not thick, but they're not real thin either. But definitely don't skip this. But now, as all my other cookies, like I tell y'all how I like to do them, I get maybe a good sized tablespoon, about a big sized tablespoon, and I'll roll it into a little fat little log. And then you stand it up and just slightly press, because you don't want them falling over on themselves. That way they stick, but don't smash the cookie down. Get it by the sides and just smash it to the parchment. I do have this lined with parchment paper. So we're going to do this. We're going to bake them at have your oven preheated at 350 degrees. We're going to bake these in the middle setting in the oven, the middle rack there. And they're going to bake between 8 to 9 minutes. Now, ovens vary. Yours could take longer, they could take less, but it's very important, do not over bake these. Now, just like any of my other cookies, you guys, they're going to be better once you eat them tomorrow. I know it's hard. There ain't nothing like a good, warm cookie out of the oven, but as cookies that have a lot of brown sugar in them and they set in, like, I put mine in my Ziploc bags, and because they tend to hold on to the moisture in there. Oh, the cookies are so much better the next day. But if you don't have any Ziploc bags, get you a good sealing like Tupperware or whatever you have with a good fitting lid, But yeah, do your little logs and stand them up. They spread just a tad, not a whole lot. But we're going to get these baking. Now, like I said, I'm going to pull my dough from the sides because that's where it's more chilled and it's not soft. The middle tends to be more soft, so I'm not going to grab for that. It's very important for this dough to be really cold, almost hard to roll. And if it's soft at all, put it back in the freezer. So when these bake, I'll put this back in the freezer. Now, they're going to look underbaked. They're going to have like white blotches on them. But believe it or not, these cookies are going to carry over cook. And once they're done, they set out after they're taken from the oven. They continue to cook a few more minutes. And they do. They turn brown right before your eyes, So don't overcook them. We're going to get them baked up, guys. These are going to bake, like I said, between 8 to 10 minutes. 350, middle rack. Okay, now you guys can see how they're like whitish, brownish. Now these will brown right before your eyes. So just don't think that they're not done. Just watch. There they are, guys, the finished cookies, and they are delicious. I can smell fall already, even though it's up on us, it's coming. But I let mine cook for 10 minutes, guys. Like I said, it's important not to overbake the cookies. Even though they don't look like they're done, they will continue to cook on your cookie sheet, because once you take them out, you're going to leave them on the cookie sheet for at least a minute, and then you can go ahead and remove them to your cooling racks. I got about 25 cookies, and I wanted to properly measure what I use. That way you guys can more or less get an idea. I used close to 2 tablespoons per cookie of the dough there. So, and mine took 10 minutes. The next batch took 11 minutes. Yours could take 9 minutes, If you're going to make them smaller, you would cook them 8 to 10 minutes to get at least 30 cookies, But mine cooked 10 minutes. One batch took 11 because I'm sneaking, opening the oven because I want proper time cooking for y'all. That way you don't overcook them. But put them in a bag, store them, get them nice and moist, or a good tight fitting container, and you will be rewarded the next day, let me tell you. Or like always, my son just grabbed one, so did I. They're a delicious cookie, and they're gonna get really soft and chewy. Look at those. Don't those look good, guys? And they're still warm. They cooked up really beautiful. But I wanted to get on and share it with you guys. And like I said, the main tip here with these cookies is to chill that dough and to get them in some tight fitting containers or bags. And that's the secret to my cookies when I make them. But anyways, you guys enjoy these cookies. Let me know what you think if you make any up. And as always, my friends, please like and subscribe and share. And until next time, you guys stay safe out there, and God bless.